Nokia has just released their first device here in the United States after they were bought by HMD, and it's not the flagship that we were all kind of secretly hoping for, but it is still a really good device for a really good price. It's the sequel to the Nokia 7, officially called the Nokia 7.1. Now they were kind enough to give me a little time with one, not much, but enough time that I try to do a complete walkthrough for you guys. Now if you're not familiar, a complete walkthrough on this channel is where I try to go through every single feature I possibly can so that you guys are better prepared should you be in the market to buy the device. With that said, there is a lot to go through, so let's get started with the hardware. The new Nokia 7.1 comes in two colors. This dark blue with a silver accent, and this steel with a copper accent, which I think looks pretty sexy, frankly. Each is machined out of a solid extruded aluminum frame with a die-cast metal core. Now because of this, it has a very solid feel to it despite the rather agreeable price tag. We also have a glass front and back with 2.5D curved Gorilla Glass 3 on the front and toughened glass on the back. For display, we have a 5.84-inch FHD Plus 19:9 aspect LCD with pretty thin bezels coming in line with all of the new devices that are out. It's capable of displaying HDR content. Now also, Nokia says it's not only able to display HDR content, but it'll even upgrade normal content to the more vibrant colors of HDR with a full 16-bit pipeline with some technology that they've included in the display. And yes, there is a notch. Above the display, we have our 8-megapixel f2.0 lens with a field of view of about 84 degrees. On top, we have a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the left, we have the micro SD SIM card tray combo, which is dual SIM in some markets. On the right, we have our volume buttons and power button. On the bottom, we have our USB 2.0 Type-C port capable of 18-watt fast charging that should get the 3060 milliamp battery inside from 0 to 50% in 30 minutes. It also supports OTG, which is the ability for you to plug in USB storage into it and use that storage on the phone. On the back, we have dual Zeiss cameras. One is a 12-megapixel f1.8 lens with 1.28 micron sized pixels, and the other they are calling a 5-megapixel quote-unquote depth sensor, which they are using only for depth info to perform their live bokeh mode, which is an adjustable portrait mode basically, but we'll show more of that in a minute. We have a dual flash in that camera hump as well, and we have a fingerprint sensor in the middle directly underneath that. Internally, we have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 636, which is the new mid-range processor, which I imagine will be enough on this device to keep it snappy for normal use, but also will keep the battery life higher most likely. The processor is paired with 4 gigs of LPDDR4X RAM, and we have 64 gigs of internal storage. We also have support for Bluetooth 5.0, Wi-Fi 802.11ac, and Qualcomm's aptX audio for better Bluetooth audio streaming bit rates. And we have LTE Cat 6 capable of theoretical 300 megabit per second down speeds. Now for software, the device is amazingly an Android One device. That means that it is an unmodified version of the Android OS, and in this case Android 8.1 with a promised upgrade to Android 9.0 Pie by the end of November. That means it has no UI skin and will receive updates faster than other devices thanks to the fact that HMD, the company that is now behind the Nokia brand, will get the updates from Google and just push them to the devices since they don't have to add any software. Also, it's because of this that I think that it'll run just fine on that 636 processor since there's less for the system to need to run in regarding to resources. Now, I won't go through the entire OS since it's similar to any other Android One device, but normally right now, I'd go through all the added apps that the manufacturer added. The thing is that HMD and Nokia didn't add any, which is a nice change of pace, in my opinion, and well, it's less for me to do right now. They did, however, add some features to the camera, so let's dive into that real quick. For camera modes, we have the following. Square, this just makes the photo a 1x1 aspect square. Panorama, which stitches photos together to create a panoramic shot like we're used to on most devices. Live bokeh. Now this is a similar feature to Samsung's Live Focus and uses the secondary camera to add depth information to the photo so that it can create an artificially blurred background effect to more mimic the look of a more powerful camera and fast aperture lens. Pro, this lets you manually adjust things like ISO, shutter speed, etc. Photo, which is normal auto photo mode. Video, which is our normal auto video mode. Slow motion, which lets you take video in a faster frame rate and then plays it back at a lower one to give a slow motion effect. Time lapse, which is the standard taking video at a low frame rate so that when it's played back it is in fast motion. Motion. Now, this is the same as Apple's live photo feature that takes a small clip before and after you take a photo that can be played back in the gallery when viewing the picture. Stickers, think Snapchat stickers basically. Beauty mode, which smooths out and brightens skin and frankly is terrifying to me, but in some places they might like it. Timer, choose between 3 and 10 seconds from when you push the shutter to take the photo. And then we have our flash, which has the usual flash for on, off, and auto. We also have dual sight mode, which is called taking a bothy, apparently. This allows you to use the front and rear cameras as 1x1 aspect cameras at the same time. You can even use the stickers and masks on both cameras at the same time, take photos and videos like this, as well as live stream to popular streaming services like Facebook and YouTube. It's kind of clever, actually. Then in the camera settings, we have auto HDR support. You should just leave this on as it lets the camera use that HDR feature that most phones have now that makes for better exposed photos. Shutter control, which allows you to take burst shots if you hold down the shutter button. Shutter sound, which has the phone make a noise when you take a photo. I always turn this off because I don't see a point other than it annoying people around me, but maybe you need it. Grid, which shows a rule of thirds grid on the viewfinder to help better line up shots. I personally always have that on. Watermark. Now this allows you to add info to the photo whenever it's taken and burned into the image. Mirror photos for the front camera. This will reverse the lens on the front camera to better represent looking into a mirror. Location tag, this adds location metadata to the photo for organizational reasons. Data storage lets you choose where to save the photos, whether it's the device or the micro SD card if you have one installed. Resolution, this allows you to choose up to 4K in 30 frames per second for the rear camera video and 1080p for the front. And reset settings, which sets all the camera settings back to what they were when the device came out of the box. Now the device will retail for a very reasonable $350 on Amazon, Best Buy, and B&H with pre-orders already live and shipping starting October 28th. Also, it'll even be available in Best Buy brick and mortar stores starting November 4th if you want to go play with one before you buy it. And there you go, a shorter than normal walkthrough, although probably not that short. Thanks to the fact that Nokia didn't add much software to the device, so I had nothing to go through there. And also the fact that I had a very limited time with the device. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please thumbs up it or share it. Greatly appreciated. Also, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of the phone, what you guys think of this video. Always love hearing from you guys. And check out the channel if you like what you see there. Please subscribe and tap the bell next to where it subscribes so that you get notified when I do new videos. As always though, regardless, thanks for watching.